Hi fiber friends. I hope everything is going well. If we have not met yet, my name is Abby and I'm a fiber artist. I like to make videos about things that I have made, things I brought to my market, and things that sell, and I'm really glad that you're here with me. If you are enjoying this video, or when you get to the end of the video and you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that subscribe button that is somewhere below my face right now. I really do appreciate that. It helps me a lot. So I wanted to hop on a couple hours before I leave for market to show you what I've made, and you know what? It's not a lot. And you know why? Because I have really great news. I have been teaching middle school again. What? If you had told me a month ago that I would be getting a job, okay, 2 months ago, that I would be working in a school again, and that I would be working with upper elementary and middle school, and that I would be teaching math. And not only that, that I would love it. I would have said, you are out of your mind, you have me mixed up with someone, but this is my life now. I am working at a private Montessori school that serves kids around kindergarten to 9th grade. But it's Montessori, so they're not in grades, and they don't get grades either. It is wonderful. It's everything that I always wanted school to be. They are not controlled by bells. They garden, y'all. They raise chickens. And when I go out for recess and do my recess duty, I get to go into the chicken run and cuddle a chicken. And it's just the best thing ever. The students are wonderful, and I love everything about it. It does hurt my soul a little bit because I've never worked at a private school before. I've always been a giant supporter of public schooling and worked in public schools, even though that's really hard. But I'm old. Can I enjoy this? Please, can this be the end of my, my 3 decades now working in education? Can I have something that I really like? Because I might stick around. Now, I did have an interview. I think I told you about it in my last video 2 weeks ago that I had an interview scheduled with a university in the western part of the state. I think that first interview went well. It's going to be Thanksgiving week, so I don't think I'm going to hear from them anytime soon, but I will certainly keep you posted. Now, if that pans out, great. But if it doesn't, I have 7 students in my class. How awesome is that? Well, in my middle school class, and then when my middle schoolers go to math with another teacher, I do elementary math with maybe 10 kids, and they're just delightful. They're so fun. So, enough about that. Oh, and also, wait. All at once, I got a full-time job and I got a part-time job. So I teach all day, and then I come home and I'm doing tutoring for elementary and middle-aged students over Zoom. So I have been super busy, and that is why when I'm showing you what I've made over the past 2 weeks, and it's not very much, this is why I have been one busy girl. So a few market prep things from my last market, because I sold a whole bunch of them. I made these 2 octopus keychains. This is the Sweet Softies pattern, the 20-minute octopus squish. They're smaller than what you would think they are because I use this thin acrylic yarn. The only thing I do different is that the pattern says to, when you get into this round, I think you chain out 4, but I actually chain out 10. And then when I go back up the chain, I slip stitch into the second loop, and then I single crochet 8, and then a single crochet back into the loop where I started the chain. I'm terrible at explaining crochet, but I really do like the effect of the legs being a little bit longer, but not so long that they would get caught on things if they were on a child or an adult backpack. So I made these 2, and then I got busy. The next thing that I want to show you is what I did for Traveler's Wheel. Tracy has already done her video showing all the makes from her first spins with the new series Traveler's Wheel that's not Crochet Roulette anymore. And the spins for that were pun for the theme and polka dots for the color. And at first I was like, whoa, what? And then I think it was a trying to fall asleep moment when I was like, fruit dragon. I searched for a pattern and I found one on Etsy. And you know, it's the risk of buying a pattern. And I knew from the picture that this was going to not be a quick market make, but it was a 29-page pattern and it took me about 8 days to complete. So let me stop talking about it and let me show it to you. The author of the pattern is Annie Ami, but it's like Aniami. I love him so much. Now, I used regular medium weight DK 4-ply, whatever you want to call it, just like Super Saver type yarn. The author says to do it in thread and a 0.8 hook, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that because the detail. Forgot. Oh, they match. Look at that. It's strawberry, peach water, and a fruit dragon. I don't know if LaCroix makes a dragon fruit flavor. So many pieces, as you can see, 6 fingers and toes. It was a lot. I don't know if I remember everything, but the head and the body are 2 pieces somewhere. Yeah, right here. I can see the seam. Wow, she does a really good job making sure that that gets hidden. The head and the body were 1 piece, and then that sewed on to like the bottom body and the tail. You make the arms and the legs, and then you surface crochet the, what are these called? The spikes and the ears, and it just took a really long time. And then sewing on all the seeds and sewing on the belly patch. But guys, look. This pattern gets 4.25 stars. Excellent points for just the result. And for me to be able to make something that looks like this, probably 92% following the pattern to a T. I am taking off a fraction of the stars because while I fully support all people speaking other languages, I am a bilingual human who is very awkward in the second language, but I think the author could have benefited from a native English speaker doing a pattern test and editing her English a little bit. But again, props to you for being brave and writing that pattern, because I understood everything. It just sometimes sounded a little bit strange. Like some of the word choices sounded a little bit off, but it really wasn't a problem because I understood. And this was the first time that I had to use a diagram to do some of the parts. So for the spikes, there were no instructions. It was just that map or the symbols, and I had never done that before, and now I have. So I'm going to take off a fraction of a point, but I'm probably going to add 2 for forcing me to learn how to do that, and it is not as bad as I always thought it was going to be. The only mod that I made was that for the wings, I made a back wing also. According to the pattern, you just make 1, but then I could see the wrong side of the wing and I thought it was ugly, especially with all these color changes. You could see where I had woven in ends. So I just made a back wing and crocheted them together, and I also like that because it's heavier and it helps Mr. Fruit Dragon sit really nicely. Now she cut up, she called it a bank card, but you cut up old credit cards into the shape of the foot to make it lay flat, which really does help. He does sit very, very nicely on a table. It's gonna take the right person to buy him. I don't expect him to move today, but I'm putting 50 on him just because it did take so long. And it was an entire skein of this pink yarn. There's a lot of material in this, even though it looks small. So this was my big make over the past 2 weeks. I made a few other things. I was scrolling Instagram and found that No Way Jose Crochet was doing a crochet along for winter, and I think he's working with some other authors as well. I think that's going to be kind of a series over the next month or so. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do any more, but I saw that pattern and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have this. And I don't even like doing holiday themed things, and I realized I only have 2 markets scheduled for December, and if this does not sell, I don't think he's going to sell in January. But the instructions were to do part 1 that was available on Instagram for only 48 hours, and then to DM Jose with your progress, and then he sent you the rest, which I did. And you guys. I can't put my arms down. Okay, that was a different character. Do you love him as much as I do? I'm sure you do. Great size. Jose is a really, really great marketer. In the pattern, there is a link to his Etsy shop where I can buy some felt glasses. Now, I would not have had time to order them and get them in time for my market. I finished this yesterday. So I'm going to bring him today if he doesn't sell. If Ralphie, well, this is Pajama Boy. Pajama Boy. You know, I'm going to secretly call him Ralphie. If Ralphie does not move today, I probably will buy those glasses. They're like $5-something, and because I didn't pay for the pattern, you know, might as well. And I think that's going to definitely add to this. There are instructions to make them with pipe cleaners, but I don't think that would be nearly as cute as the pictures that I saw with the cutout felt ones. Maybe I just finally need to invest in Sizzix and make my own, but guys, look at that. I know the purple is kind of a wrong color, but I didn't have a dark pink to go with the light pink. The purple is Bernat Blanket. You know, the rest of it, honestly, was scrap yarn. I couldn't tell you what I used. But when this, like, seriously, 5 stars. Buy this pattern when it's published. And just because I made the first one and I loved it, I love the colors. I made another sea turtle. I made one of these for my last market 3 weeks ago. It was gone in its debut market. I really love the color combinations and I had enough to do more, so I made another one. I bet he is going to move very quickly. And the last thing that I made was a pattern test for Cottage Lore Crochet. I have done so many for her. I did the Eeyore Snuggler. I did Victoria the Ghost Doll. I know I've done more. This might, it's got to be like my 4th or 5th pattern test for her. And look, it's another holiday thing, and I don't make holiday things. What's up? But I think this might sell in another part of the year. It's Sugar Cookie Cow. And I'm thinking this could also be an Easter, I mean, not this one because it's got the red and green sprinkles, but you could do like a pink icing and make it more of like an Easter cookie. I think this pattern, oh, the polar bear, that was another thing that I did for her. So now offhand, I can think I did the Eeyore Snuggler, Victoria the Ghost Doll, the polar bear, and now this, and I might have done something else too. So cute. It was really fast until I got to the parts that required sprinkles. So you do the arms, and that was super quick. One leg, and then you do the second leg attach. It's one piece from leg 2 all the way up to the top of the head, and then you make the ears and the horns, sew those in, you crochet in the arms, and then you sew on this cookie patch, and he's got a cute little tail too. So 5 stars. Those are my pattern reviews. I am going to finish packing up. I might try to even make something before I leave for market. It is almost 12. I have to leave at about 1:30. So I probably won't check in today because I feel very awkward talking to the camera while I'm at a market. Look, he's so cute. He's just got to stay with me while I'm talking. So I will definitely be finishing this video tomorrow with a market recap. I am not having huge expectations for this one. I only paid $40 for it, and it's with a company that I have sworn before that I would not use again because they are highly unorganized, and they have been highly unorganized. I got an email yesterday with instructions like the day before, and then saying I'll send a map out later tonight. Still don't have it. And apparently, according to the email, there were tented and non-tented spaces. I don't know. I'm just gonna show up. I only paid $40, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make my booth fee back. And one thing that is helping me like them a little bit more was this company made a comment on Instagram about the immigration activity that's going on in the city right now. I'm in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and it's November 2025, and it's just a really ugly time in the city right now. And this company that does pop-up events said something, you know, we welcome everyone, and apparently then she posted it again the next day and said people backed out because of her posting that, and that's just not cool. But even in that email, there was a mention, the city's quiet right now, so let's just see if people come out to this event. It's probably not going to be great, but I'm getting out. I'm sure I will sell something, and so you will know more when I'm back. So, see you later.
Sugar rush, I need tonight. Bubblegum love, it's sticking to my heart. Every little piece of sugary work of art, popping in my chest with a flavor so true. Baby, you're my treat, my candy coated glue. You're like a gumdrop on a rainy day.
Well, welcome back. For you, it's only been a minute, but as predicted, that market kind of sucked. I should have known better when I registered for it, but you know, I did at least make my booth fee back. The market, if I didn't already tell you, it went from 3 to 7 on a Saturday afternoon. The weather was really great for November, but during the setup time from 2 to 3, it was unbelievably windy. And just that kind of made the setup a little bit difficult. I know other people's stuff was really flying around more than mine. And like, I did put the back wall on my tent to try to cut that wind a little bit, but then that back tent wall just like kept flopping around. Kind of put me in a bad mood. I'm gonna be straight with you. I got kind of cranky as other people were setting up, and like some people had their kids with them, and that was annoying me. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm a little annoyed right now. But let me just tell you, the whole time, 2 transactions. But they were good transactions, so I'm not going to complain about that. Maybe in an hour and a half in, Francis sold. My fruit dragon barely had any time at market. He was 2 days old, and somebody bought him, so yay. Second transaction, honestly, like they were these 2 ladies drinking beer, came around the first time, and they wanted to get something for, I think it was one of their sisters was about to have a baby. And so I pointed out some of my baby safe stuff, and I pointed out Freya the flamingo, who has embroidered eyes, and they were like, well, let me finish my beer, walk around, and I'll come back. And I was like, yeah, they're not coming back. They did. And on top of that, they bought 6 of my Yip Yip chapstick holders, which probably means I'm out. Maybe I have a few left. I'll have to dig, because I have all my keychains in one basket right now because people like to dig. But it is giving me inspiration to change around the pattern a little bit, because I've used those googly eye rings, which are shaped to go on a finger. So like here's the ring and the googly eyes are right here. But when you use them as kind of like a frame to make Yip Yips, this action happens. And what always bugged me about those is that the eyes are casting down and Yip Yips look straight at you. So I am going to take this opportunity to rework that pattern a little bit, and also because I don't want to buy more of those eyes. I bought a 20 pack. It took me forever to sell through the amigurumis and things that I made with them, so I'm saying goodbye to those rings. And so stay tuned, because I certainly want to keep selling them, but I just want to do it a little bit differently. Another part of this market that I just did not plan for, and that is 100% my fault, is that it gets dark really early now. And with the market going from 3 until 7, by 5:20 or so, it was straight up dark. And I remember thinking about that during the week, like, oh gosh, I hope the parking lot is well lit. It wasn't. It was very poorly lit, and I don't have tent lights because I've never done a night market in the winter before. So the whole last hour and a half I knew was a wash. I couldn't crochet. So I honestly just ended up sitting in my chair scrolling on my phone because I knew like there wasn't any foot traffic anyway. So at that point I was like, yeah, I can't leave and I can't really try to sell either, but lesson learned. My next market is indoors and I don't have anything scheduled after that, but I do now know that if I'm doing an outdoor market after sundown, I have to get some battery powered lights. So, total sales. I sold Frances for $50. I knocked down Freya from 65 to 50 when those two ladies like were very interested in her. They said how much, and I said I can sell her to you for 50 because I just really want it. I mean, they wanted it. I wanted them to have it. And then with the keychains, that sale came to $98. So my day was $148 minus the $40 booth fee. So that means, doing the math in my head, $108 profit. Not great. Not the worst. It could have been way worse, but you know, lesson learned. Maybe stop. You know what? No, I'm not going to say lesson learned, because if I go 3 weeks without a market and I see one that doesn't cost a lot, I'm probably going to jump on it because getting out and selling something is better than sitting at home. So how to turn a bad market around? Just spin positively. Maybe know that it met your expectations. I didn't expect to go and sell $500 worth because I knew it wasn't going to be a very big market. So also got some inspiration to try a new pattern. So whenever you have a bad market, like, don't get discouraged because it happens to all of us. And sometimes I feel like the people that come on here or on Instagram that seem to have like incredibly successful market after market after market are, number one, spending a lot of money on booth fees. And number two, maybe not sharing the not so great ones. So don't get discouraged, guys. If you're new to markets, or even if you're not new and you get a really bad one, keep going. You don't know what the next one's going to bring. So see you soon. Bye-bye.